Welcome to First Take. Shae Cornette here with you. Obviously, SA is in the building. Mad Dog Vincent Goodwill here as well. How's everyone feeling? I like the purple. Nice. Very springy of you. We're speaking it into existence.
Very good. And I just spent an hour making sure I was on top of it by watching a montage of General Hospital for the last 20 years. So I'm on top of that.
Very good. So he's got the whole story arc in case it should come up later on. Perfect. Right. We are going to begin a little bit in Hollywood. We're going to go to LA. NBA still on break. However, we did see Giannis Antetokounmpo front and center in LA for much of All-Star Weekend. Maybe that is foreshadowing that the Greek Freak may be seeing his future there. According to a recent article by Dave McMenamin, the Lakers could be in pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo this summer. The article says in part, quote, that team sources did tell ESPN that they obviously see the appeal in Antetokounmpo and believe they, meaning the Lakers, would be one of the teams on a very short list if the Bucks star asks for a trade out of Milwaukee. A Western Conference executive told ESPN that he believes Antetokounmpo is the, quote, big prize the Lakers hope to land should the Milwaukee Bucks decide to trade the 2021 NBA Finals MVP during the offseason. And so naturally, here we are kind of looking ahead at what a Luka-Giannis combination would look like for the Lakers. Would this be a good fit? Vinny, go ahead.
I mean, of course it would be a good fit when you look at maybe two of the top 4 or 5 players in basketball on the same team. Would Giannis want to play off the ball? Because that was a big thing with him and Damian Lillard. He didn't want to get off the ball as much. Team construction, all that type of stuff. That's fine. My question to y'all is this. What do the Lakers have to realistically offer the Milwaukee Bucks if Giannis actually decides, I want to go for a trade? Yes, in the article it says that 26, 30, and 33, those first-round draft picks that you could offer. But that's so far down the line. Right. And maybe, just maybe, the Nico Harrison school has shifted to Milwaukee, but I doubt it because the laughter I heard yesterday came all the way from the Midwest. There's no way that unless Giannis says, I want to go there, I'm not signing an extension here with you this summer. I don't want to go to the New York Knicks. I don't want to go to anywhere else but the Lakers. Will a deal be actually consummated? The Lakers have much bigger questions than to try to worry about landing a big fish like Giannis. I just don't think it's necessarily realistic.
Listen, here's the deal. I don't believe it's realistic either. I mean, right now, from a cap perspective, without LeBron and without Rui Hachimura, you'd have about $51 million in cap space. Again, the 3 first-round picks that you brought up, 2026, 2031, 2033. Those would be the 3 first-round picks that they could give up in order for it. I don't think there's any shot in hell that this happens. Here's where it gets interesting, though. It's the Lakers. Who the hell ever thought Luka would be a Laker? Somehow, some way, I mean, I know Nico Harrison is without a job. He will be, unfortunately, forever infamous for making this deal, okay, that moved Luka to the Los Angeles Lakers. Like a thief in the night. You didn't sit up there and shop him. You could have got a multitude of assets if in return for Luka Doncic. You didn't take advantage of that. We get all of that. Somehow, some way, he ends up a Laker. Go back years ago, 2011, Chris Paul, we just finished talking about him. He was supposed to be a Los Angeles Laker. If it wasn't for the New Orleans franchise being owned in the de facto perspective by Commissioner David Stern and the league at that time, which basically meant that the owners of the league owned the New Orleans Hornets at the time. Dan Gilbert goes ballistic because LeBron James sits up there and snubs him by announcing he's taking his talents to South Beach. A year later or months later, Chris Paul gets this deal. What happens in that deal? Here's why it gets interesting. You got the best player in Chris Paul in the deal. Plus, you would have saved about $40 million in cap space. Dan Gilbert goes ballistic and said, what are we going to call the rest of us, like the Washington Generals or something? Because he's talking about how does a franchise get the best player and still save themselves $40 million in cap? Which was the franchise that did that before David Stern stepped in and nixed it? It was the Los Angeles Lakers. So all I'm saying is I totally agree with you. It's highly unlikely. It's very, very implausible in my mind that the Lakers have the assets to get the Milwaukee Bucks. But somehow, some way throughout history, when the improbable happens, it's usually associated in basketball annals with the Los Angeles Lakers. So, in other words, you can never say never with them because for some reason, I don't know where the basketball gods shine down upon them or whatever, but something happened that, damn it, ain't supposed to happen. That's the Lakers' history, and that's what we can't ignore.
Well, Giannis did say this weekend, and I understand he's in a tricky spot because he doesn't want to say, I want to be traded, but he did say this weekend with his quotes, I'm a Milwaukee Buck. I love the city of Milwaukee. I went out of his way to say it. Now, I understand All-Star weekend, people get a chance to ask him questions. He doesn't want to ruin the weekend by saying, I want out. He's not going to say that. But he did go out of his way making a big deal. Right at the moment, he loves being in Milwaukee. Number two, why would, again, Dalton connect? Who are the Lakers going to send? Milwaukee needs draft picks and he needed a couple of young players. I think San Antonio, to me, would be the place because they can trade Castle. They can get rid of Harper. I don't know what the draft situation is. And then they can have Giannis with Wemby and freaking De'Aaron Fox. And that to me, or Minnesota would be interesting. Because you can team him with Anthony Edwards. Now, I don't know what Minnesota, why would they want Randall? I mean, why would they want Naz Reid? I mean, if you're Milwaukee, you don't want to be in purgatory with 40 wins. So they want young players who they can build around. And I'm not too sure. I don't know enough about who's available, young player, draft scenario, and who's got those picks. But I don't see him going to the Lakers under any circumstance. I know what Steve's saying. And Paul would have gone there. He entered the Clippers instead. He would have gone there.
Right.
If Stern didn't,
Correct.
Said it's not happening. So the Lakers seem to have a little. We all know that.
But check this out.
Wilt went there. Kareem went there. They all go there.
You'll appreciate this from an historical perspective. Think about Kobe. You're the 13th pick in the draft.
Yeah, you're right.
You understand? So somehow Jerry West gets you. Think about Shaq leaving Orlando like a thief in the night. Jerry West got him. Think about Magic Johnson. You got, the
coin flip.
The coin flip. I mean, listen. Every improbable acquisition, I'm using the word improbable. Every improbable acquisition
up there.
associated with basketball, it's usually the Lakers.
So, okay.
It's usually the Lakers.
The question is, how would Giannis and Luka pair together? Would we love that?
Actually, that's not a question.
That was the question. Would Giannis and Luka be a good fit together?
Giannis and Luka? What?
It would be the perfect fit,
my God.
would it not?
It would be a great fit. The one thing I want to point out about Stephen A. and what you've just said, the Lakers always seem to benefit from ineptitude of other franchises.
Sure. Smart.
If it's one thing the Milwaukee Bucks cannot afford to be with this will he, won't he, they cannot be inept. They're going to put that extension in front of him on June 30th. If he signs it, he stays. If he doesn't, there's your signal.
But you're also thinking about it straight up. There are a multitude of big-time deals that involve multiple teams throughout history. So, in other words, the assets don't all have to come from the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right,
it could come from a myriad of other teams to make the deal work. Again, I don't believe it's happening. I'm with you 1,000%. I don't believe this is going to happen. I just know never say never with the Lakers because the history says you can't do that.
If your players aren't good enough, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, and to Doggy's point, if your young players are not good enough to elevate you in the Western Conference right now, why are they good enough for me? And also, they have to take care of Austin Reeves this summer.
But all you're doing is saying why Milwaukee shouldn't do it. What I'm saying to you is this. Why the hell did the Dallas Mavericks do what they did? It makes no sense.
That's a dissertation for another day.
Exactly. But the point is that we're looking at it. Why the hell did they do it? Why did you do it?
The owner. With Giannis, with him getting out of shape and everything else, they were worried about him.
Yeah, but
the owner got that done.
Listen. Yeah, but what you don't do is
don't
call anybody else. Get on the phone with one team and make a deal for a player that was 6 years older and just as injury prone, if not more so than the superstar 25-year-old at the time that you're letting go of. That was just one of the most asinine deals ever, and there's no way around it.
Here's your point about Chris Paul. When you talked about the owners of the league looking at the Lakers and saying the Lakers can't benefit this way, do you think the owners getting a whiff of this is going to be calling Adam Silver and saying, Adam,
he's not going to the Lakers.
Right.
Right. You just got the ultimate stimulus package in Luka Doncic this time last year when nobody else had a chance to put a bid in.
Okay, now,
do you think that these NBA owners, these billionaires, will not go to Adam Silver and say, let it happen again?
I totally agree with you. But here's the other flip side to it. You've got revenue sharing. That's always an issue. Basketball, let's call it what it is. Basketball is better when the Lakers are relevant.
You say that about the Knicks, and the Knicks been good for like 3 years in your life.
But I haven't said that about the New York Knicks the way I said about the Los Angeles Lakers. When it comes to basketball, it's about the Lakers, it's about the Boston Celtics. We all know what they mean to the game of basketball, especially in Tinseltown with the purple and gold. It's just this. So what I'm saying to you is that I don't believe it's going to happen. you just can't rule out anything with the Lakers because when they're relevant, basketball is exponentially better. And we all have seen it. We know this to be true.
Before we move on, if I told you had to bet all your money today that next year the Lakers will have Giannis and will not have LeBron, would you take that bet?
They will not. I don't believe that it's going to happen.
I agree. Can I tell you a quick story about Kareem?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Please. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You know, I love the history.
Go ahead.
Wayne Embry told me this, who was the general manager. In one of those 74, 75, Kareem goes to Wayne Embry before the season and preseason. You got to get me out of here. I won your championship.
In Milwaukee.
I'm Milwaukee. Hey, can you take me to either coast? So Embry tells him, Kareem, keep it quiet. Don't say a word. And I promise you at the end of the year, I'll get you traded. Kareem says nothing, wins the MVP, says nothing. At the end of the year, traded to the Lakers, and they got Brian Winters, Elmore Smith.
Yep.
That's the way you like it done. And that's why Kareem's classy.
Right.
He asked for a trade quietly. Embry said, I'll take care of you. Go play. He wins the MVP. No messing around.
Right.
And then he got his wish by playing for the Lakers.
Right.
But then when he got Magic, he wins 5 championships. That's a good story.
The problem is nothing can happen quietly anymore. That's just
that's
not
the
way America
It
works.
wasn't Stephen A. at that point with the cameras around.
Shae, you just asked
on first
LeBron
take.
or Giannis. I'm going to take the Mike Tomlin quote. Never say never, but never.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So no one's betting their money. I would take that bet, by the way. Let's go to the East, though. The NBA will come off their break tomorrow night, and we will get a battle between two of the top teams in the East as the Knicks will welcome the Pistons to the Garden for the first time this season. Now, Detroit has won 3 straight on the road. Knicks in the need of a statement win since they were blown out by the Pistons the last time they met. The Pistons have dominated the Knicks in those 2 matchups this season, winning both games by 30-plus points. Both those wins came in Detroit, of course, and then tomorrow the Pistons will not have Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart. Remember, they will sit out due to those suspensions from the Hornets game. And so when we think ahead to tomorrow night, we're going to have basketball back. What is at stake for the Knicks on Thursday, Doggy?
Well, I do think that the Pistons can't complain about a couple of guys out because Towns and a couple of guys did not play when the Knicks last played in Detroit. So that's the way. I think the fact that this is the first game of the second half, if you want to call it a second half, I think that adds a little drama because they haven't played in a week. It's a highlight game. I think the fact that the Knicks, as you said, got blown out twice, beat the Pistons last year. Pistons kind of look at the Knicks as their next step. You know, everybody's got that team where they have to overcome to advance in postseason, and I think the Pistons look at the Knicks as that kind of team. But again, it's a regular season game at the middle of February. I still don't love the Pistons in postseason play. I called it last year with Cleveland. I thought they were a regular season team. Indiana beat them in the first round. And I kind of think in a lot of ways, well, they were the second round. I kind of think in a lot of ways Detroit's as a regular season team. I don't think they got enough offense. I don't think the Pistons have enough offense outside of Cunningham, Duncan Robinson, really, who's going to make big shots for him in postseason play. So I still think the Knicks would beat them in a 7-game series.
I'm with you on your questions about Detroit because they do not have a secondary scorer outside of Cade Cunningham that can go and create his own shot. You need that in the playoffs. There's not a team, I think short of maybe the Derrick Rose Bulls, that even got to the conference finals with one guy being responsible for creating all offense. But to your point about how important tomorrow's game is, it's critically important for the New York Knicks to send a message. Not just because there's no Stewart and no Duren, but Jalen Brunson's worst game of the season was in Detroit 2 weeks ago. 4 of 20 with Ausar Thompson hanging off of him. Like when we talk about toughness, yeah, it's going to be Stewart and Duren, but it's also Ron Holland and Ausar Thompson. And you can't get punked again. You can't get punked on your home floor by the team that says, Steve, it cannot happen.
I'm not saying it can't happen, but I don't view the Pistons as getting punked last year. I thought
No. I'm saying the Knicks have gotten punked in their 2 games this season.
Got you.
The Knicks can't afford to get punked on their home floor. This is their last meeting of the season.
Well, I will say this. The first meeting, when you lost by 30, you didn't have Josh Hart. The second meeting, when you were down by 40 and lost by 37, you didn't have OG and you didn't have Cat. Now, the New York Knicks are winning 78% of their games when their starting 5 is together. When one of them is out, let alone more than one, they're barely above 500. So we know this. That's a concern for me. I'm looking at the Detroit Pistons squad. that's beaten them by 31 and 37 respectively in the 2 meetings they've had against them this year. I'm seeing them shoot 54% from the field, 47% from three-point range, and I'm asking myself, can they do that during the postseason? Would they be that accurate, that efficient offensively during the postseason? I don't know that to be true. But again, Knicks are not losing to these guys. They're getting their asses kicked. And so knowing that Thursday night is your last meeting of the regular season, you want to send a message. And the fact that Stewart is Durham going to be out too?
Yeah, he's suspended.
So they're both out. You cannot lose this game. If you lose this game at the Garden, even though it's the regular season, at the Garden, without Durham and Stewart, I'm going to lose all hope. I'm going to lose all hope against them, against Detroit. If you can't beat the Detroit Pistons, if you're the New York Knicks, fresh off of 2 ass whippings this year against them, and you go up against them and you cannot beat Detroit without Durham and Stewart, without your front line, there's no reason for me to believe they could beat Detroit come postseason.
That's why I don't think they just have to win. They have to send a message. If you win by 5 against a team that's this short-handed on your home floor, being motivated, that doesn't strike any fear or any doubt in the minds and hearts of the Detroit Pistons. You have to send a message in the same way that they send a message to you.
Okay. I'm not going to be averse to that. I'm more concerned about them losing because they got their asses whipped so bad. I mean, I'm not sure they're going to win tomorrow night without their front line. That's how nervous I am.
You know what? You should go front row, right next to Spike, give a campaign speech and make an announcement right then and there, Steve.
Usually when I'm courtside, it's on the opposite side of the court by the visiting team's bench, you know. I don't think the Knicks want me looking at them if they messing up and you sitting right there. I'm staring right at you. I think it'd be a problem, so I don't want that. Plus, I have other commitments tomorrow night.
Wear the little bag, you like, sit there. Is it on? What's the game on? What channel?
It's on Prime. It's on Prime.
It's on Prime.
It's on Prime.
And get some. Who's doing the game? Well, what announcer?
See, this is the problem. This is the problem with the new NBA contract. We're asking.
You can't find out who's doing it.
That's what Mike Wilbon was complaining about. Where the hell is the game? Who's calling the game?
Wilbon complains if the game is on ESPN.
I love my man Wilbon, the Godfather, but you're right.
Get the bag, have him come over, and announce your candidacy to run for political office.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, I'm focused on basketball. I'm focused on but I approve that message. You know what I'm saying? I do.
We're just hoping for a Knicks win tomorrow night, and maybe by double figures. Also,
interesting game. I'll say that at the very least, it's an interesting game.
Should be fresh legs, obviously coming off a week off. Like, this should be the time where the Knicks show up against the Pistons again without two of their
I will say this, when the college basketball season was going on, and then there was some stuff that was happening down, college football rather, with Lane Kiffin and all that stuff. As you know, I talked some mess about Ole Miss, you know what I'm saying, Oxford, Mississippi and stuff like that. And those folks dared me to come down there. And I promised them that I would.
That's where you're going?
So I am showing up tomorrow night. I will be in Oxford, Mississippi.
I'm going to talk to you during the commercial break.
I'm
going to Oxford, Mississippi. It's a wonderful, wonderful coach there, coach at Ole Miss. I promised her I would be there. I'm showing up. That is why I'm missing the Knicks game, because I'm showing up to Oxford, Mississippi tomorrow night.
Wow.
Not on Delta.
Wasn't expecting that.
Right.
That's right. Right now, back to the Pistons. Pistons have a 5.5 game lead in the East over the Celtics. Coming up.